1 year has fallen off since the government, backed by its Hindutva ideology, has enacted a law that deprived Muslims of their citizenship. Since we witnessed inexorable resistance and protests the nation has ever seen in recent times.
हमारी व्याख्या संकुचित नहीं है, वहाँ के संविधान का प्रोविजन ऐसा है जो मुस्लिमों को माइनॉरिटी का स्टेटस नहीं देता है, इसलिए नहीं। इस देश में इतने सारे मुसलमान हैं, कोई भेदभाव नहीं होता है, सब जी रहे हैं, और यहाँ चित्र ऐसा बनाया जा रहा है कि इस देश के मुसलमानों के साथ अन्याय हो रहा है, ऐसा नहीं है मान्य।
Ayes 125, noes 105, abstain 0. The motion, the bill is passed, is adopted.
The Citizenship Amendment Act was the most controversial take among the many repugnant and discriminatory legal procedures against the people. A hegemonic sacrilege moved to set religion as the basis of citizenship. The government defined this amendment as a legal remedy by providing Indian citizenship for those in the neighboring countries confronting religious discrimination. But the brutal intention behind this law was crystal clear. There had been massive public rage against this amendment, and the protest against the bill became the strongest one that country has witnessed in recent times. Since the country has witnessed the protest and means of inexorable resistance which the nation has never ever seen in its history. The agitations which began in the northeast states later stormed intensely all over the country as the protests were taken over by the students of Jamia Millia Islamia. Following this, the center also repeatedly terrorized the people and blackmailed the people that they will also enact NRC soon. That is to prepare the National Register of Citizens and expel those whom the central government finds as migrants. Following this, the center also repeatedly terrorized the people and blackmailed the people that they will also enact NRC soon. That is to prepare the National Register of Citizens and expel those whom the central government finds as migrants. There is no need of exertion to confirm the identity of those to be ousted as migrants, particularly when Saffron Party is ruling, who are euphoric in following the Sangh Parivar preceptor Golwalkar and his declaration of Muslims as their prime foes. With the sanctioning of the new citizenship law, the flame of resistance disseminated rapidly all over the country. The roles that the student leaders and protesters of Jamia Millia and Aligarh universities have played in the protest and the torment they received for the resistance which they are still going through are irreplaceable. On December 13th and 15th, protests and agitations reached their peak in these universities. Jamia Millia students Aisha Rana, Ladida Farsana and Shaheen Abdullah from Kerala became the prime icons of anti-NRC and CAA protest. The names of Safura Sargar, who was imprisoned inhumanly even though she was pregnant, and Asif Iqbal Tanha and Shafiullah also will be embarked in the history of resistance forever.
I still can remember that day on the 15th and also the days before that. While recollecting that movement or recollecting the origin of the protest inside the university, I still remember it was on the just day before or on the day in which the bill was passed inside the parliament. Students were protesting inside the campus in a form of a small groups and small gatherings. It was on the 12th night girls hostel march which gained such a popularity and media attention and momentum, and later on the 13th we had a parliament march in which also police used tear gas, lathi charged and everything against the protesting students. On the 14th we went for a complete boycott of the examinations and went for a protest inside the campus, and 15th it became an massive kind of protest involving the people outside the campus and students inside the campus. So it eventually became a protest march, and the police used very brutally tried to suppress that march using all the tear gas, lathis and everything. The particular incident in which I and my friends was attacked and tried to resist the police brutality, it happened outside the university campus, and it was a bit far from the campus, but from there the police went to the university and they marched inside the campus and they vandalized whole the university, and most of the students were severely injured. You might be knowing about the Minhaj who lost his eyesight, and there were so many other students who had severe physical injuries. Apart from the physical injuries, also the mental trauma and the mental pain that students went through as a part of the police brutality is.
On December 13th, the Delhi police restrained a peaceful parliament march and fired bullets and tear gas inside the campuses. Even students who were then writing exams also experienced fatigue. The police atrocities on students were so brutal.
Whenever I try to remember about that particular day, or whenever I try to recollect that event, I felt myself very difficult to do that, because of all the pain and trauma that I might have underwent through due to that particular attack that I have faced for that. Every time when I started to write about that thing, I can realize how much that particular incident has affected me or how much it has traumatized me. But the fact is that the particular incident or the attack on Aligarh Muslim University and Jamia Millia Islamia has become a motivation or a point of inspiration for the others in whole India to emerge to the streets and to act against that anti CAA, to act against the Citizenship Amendment Act, and to act against all the anti-human, anti-Muslim things or action that has been taken by the government. So for us, it's like whenever thinking about that part of the attack, or that part of the incident, I felt a bit relieved. I think that will be the same condition with each and everyone in the university who might have been gone through that particular incident.
On December 15th, claiming an attack that happened few kilometers in the vicinity of the campus, the brutal witch hunt of students inside the campus by Delhi police forces remains incomparable. Even libraries were dismantled, and the students who were sitting inside the libraries were also not spared. Mihajuddin, who lost his eyesight, is one of the living victims of police brutality. CCTV footages nailing the false allegations of police who claimed that they entered the campuses to confront the students who took part in the nearby attacks were also out and proved to be implicitly fabricated. As the students also started confronting attacks, the heart of the protest slowly shifted to Shaheen Bagh from the campuses. People who protested by blocking the main highway had written astonishing chapters in the history of resistance. Mothers at the forefront of the protest also gained worldwide attention.
जामिया में हमारे बच्चे मारे तो हम पर बर्दाश्त नहीं हुई बच्चों की, किसी की आँख फोड़ी, किसी के हाथ में लगा, किसी के पाँव में लगा, और आंसू गोले भी छोड़े और वैसे भी डंडों से मार पड़ी बच्चों के साथ। अब जो बाथरूम में बढ़ गए तो वहाँ भी बच्चों का बहुत बुरा दिन बनाया। तो इसलिए हम कैसा आज हुआ है ये जामिया में, अगले दिन हम बैठ गए।
Such Shaheen Baghs subsequently sprouted like mounds all over the country. Mosques for prayers and madrasas for religious teachings became protest centers. They turned to be an immense source of energy for anti-CAA protest.
It is inevitable to talk about the political interrogations with the memories of anti-CAA protests. When the whole circle of Muslim community thronged to the streets, secular India also shared its strength. But many could not digest the very visible presence of the Muslims and its corollary symbols during the protests. It was the Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself who first accused the protesters that they can be identified by their attires.
The citizenship protests being populated by very normal Muslims. In my opinion, the slogans that came out were very natural and organic. All the slogans of the citizenship protests were inevitable. Because we know in India, religions have importance and huge social presence. So it's very normal that religious impulse creep into a protest like anti-CAA movement. And constitution does not condemn it either. And for example, we know farmer protest is going on now. In farmer protest, we are seeing that Sikh religious symbols and their beliefs being associated with the protest. So it's very natural and organic. So the slogans like La ilaha illallah are the variation on the same situation for the anti-CAA movement.
The protests in Delhi were headed by Bhim Army leader Chandrasekhar Azad, and the rally he pronounced was severely attacked by Delhi police. Azad was arrested by police when he staged a protest in front of Delhi's Juma Masjid, and his arrest had led to wide protest.
मगर आपकी ईमानदारी, आपकी सच्चाई, आपकी मेहनत की वजह से आज कम से कम 1000 शाहीन बाग हो चुके हैं देश में।
Prominent historian Ramachandra Guha was also forcibly taken into custody while he was protesting at Bengaluru. Chief ministers of over 15 states proclaimed that the state governments won't enforce the new citizenship law. Kerala was one among the states that witnessed enormous strength for the protest. Towns and villages of Kerala jointly thronged the streets against the amendment in unity. Kerala's Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan announced that the citizenship amendment will never be enforced in Kerala.
ദേശീയ പൗരത്വ ഭേദഗതി നിയമം നടപ്പാക്കില്ല. ദേശീയ പൗരത്വ രജിസ്റ്റർ നടപ്പാക്കില്ല. ദേശീയ ജനസംഖ്യാ രജിസ്റ്റർ നടപ്പാക്കാനുള്ള ഒരു എന്യൂമറേഷൻ പ്രവർത്തനവും നടക്കില്ല. ഇങ്ങനെയുള്ള ആളുകളെയൊക്കെ സൂക്ഷിക്കാനുള്ള ഒരു കരുതൽ തടങ്കൽ പാളയവും ഈ കേരളത്തിൽ ഉണ്ടാവില്ല. ഇത് ജനം സാക്ഷി, നമ്മുടെ നാട് സാക്ഷി.
The flames of resistance against the law was literally all over Kerala by UDF and other political parties. Kerala government approached the Supreme Court demanding abrogation of Citizenship Amendment Act nearly 15 days after its legislative assembly unanimously passed a referendum against the amendment. Government was unable to control the protest when it becomes hugely en masse, and Modi was compelled to vow to not implement NRC. The movement, which took the streets in shock, lasted for many months. Public places like universities, national highways, rural areas and religious institutions became centers of protest. The government went to its furthermost extent to suppress the people. In the Delhi Assembly elections, the BJP launched its massive campaign by branding the entire movement in communal colors. And even when it did so, the results were not fruitful. The kind of campaigns that BJP carry out included slogans that asked people to shoot at traitors. The power fueled by these violent slogans resulted in members of the Sangh Parivar arriving at protest sites with weaponry. Finally, the petition was heard at Supreme Court. Court repeats that protests are only the pillar stone of democracy and appoints a committee for negotiation.
Riot was the last resort for the Hindutva forces. Despite hate speeches and provocative campaigns were spearheaded in the presence of law enforcing agencies. Union government has been hunting down the civil activists in the pretext of investigation.
By the end of February, journalists churned out numerous reports on the armed rioters and their Jai Shri Ram that followed. The rioters chanted "Desh ki kadaron ko goli maro salon ko" while setting out for the pogrom. The police, while not only being present, were also directly involved in the riots. According to the official figures, out of the 53 who were murdered, 2/3 of them were Muslims. Despite all the evidences that was there in the open, the only investigation that Delhi police actually conducted was the whitewashing of BJP leaders who were the root cause of the violence that took place all over Delhi. The centre even deported Justice S. Muralidharan, a Delhi High Court judge, for criticizing the Delhi police for not filing a case against the BJP members despite all the videos that showed them inciting violence. But the Delhi police has not even looked that way since. Under the disguise of investigation, Delhi police has only vandalized protest sites, detained students, protesters and charged them with sedition and horrific acts like UAPA. The Delhi Special Cell even accused former Union Minister of Congress Salman Khurshid, CPM leader Sidaram Yechuri, Brinda Karat, Yogendra Yadav and Welfare Party National President SQR Ilyas.
Now it is very clear that it was a state-sponsored genocide, because lot many whatever happened is, of course, it is unfortunate, but lot many instances have proved that when the violence took place, police was aiding to a certain section, and it is very clear that what happened in Gujarat, that was getting reflected in Delhi also. So it was a BJP sponsored terror that was unleashed against the protesters. We had seen that the protest was taken place for lot many days, and during those days there was not a single instance of violence in Delhi. But the BJP leaders openly cautioned the protesters that they should stop the protest, otherwise they will be attacked. And that subsequent to that call, all these attacks had taken place, but the police, which is supposed to protect the peaceful protesters, police was also aiding those goons, BJP goons, and that ultimately resulted in the violence, and that also resulted in the death of innocent people. So government is, BJP government is completely responsible for what had happened in Delhi. It is very clear now.
Despite filing the first and additional charge sheets, the police say that rioters are yet to be found. The police are moving forward with the sole aim of jailing every single anti-CAA protester who has shaken the centre and its foundations by attempting to intimidate them. Along with being an encroachment on constitutional values, this amendment is also a threat to Muslim masses and their existence in this country.
The anti-CAA protest, we should be very clear, it is not just one thing. Clearly it was issue focused, but at the same time it was many things. Now certainly it was about upholding the constitutional values. Let us not forget that in many ways the new religiously discriminatory citizenship law challenged the very political existence of Muslims in India. As many have said, it was also a protest movement which was all about inclusion, to widen the scope of Indian nation state, especially at a time when Indian politics and laws were made to appease Hindus.
Yet the government is still moving forward with its heroic claims of enforcing this law. They claim to introduce the law and enforce it by next year in the wake of West Bengal elections. Many petitions challenging the unconstitutional nature of the law are still pending before the Supreme Court. The protest will be strengthened if the government dares to enforce this law, is the view that protesters go by.
So if they implement the CAA, if they will announce the NRC or NPR, people will come out because they are not coming they are not coming in the call of United Against Hate. They are not coming in the call of Jamia Millia Islamia. They are not coming in the call of any organization. They are coming for their own vision, for their own existence.
Whether the struggle meets its target or not, whether the law is enforced or not, we must remember that the politics of hate proposed by the Hindutva forces is being strengthened its roots. The memories that we keep on ignite could only bring slightest resistance to it.